Armada Book 2 Chapter 14 The Other Aliens Part 2. You are so dramatic, Bhaskar. Linda said. Yes, I agree, we do this all the time and I know you should be used to it by now. Andrew said. Gadden added, don't forget, there are Macs to support you not only in studying their institutions but in all areas needing support. We will have cloaked Macs available for you to use. Yes, Bhaskar told us. They are part of the continuing plan. Akinpat said. The Macs are extremely helpful, especially when you deal with traitors, rebels and spies. If you want to beam to the moon for whatever reason, the Macs will do this for you as well. A substitute Emperor will be available at all times so you can beam out if necessary. Bhaskar said. Andrew, I understand you have probes in the palace that allows you to see the Emperor and the others. Manpat said. Andrew looked at Manpat. Yes, if you want to see your boys, you can see them and even talk to them if you beam to the moon's command center. Olive appeared. Andrew, I believe it would now be 2 hours before the best time to substitute the Emperor and his men. It's night in the capital planet. The planet governors will be substituted at separate times. The two brothers stood up. They all stood up. Manpat approached his sons and said, I am very proud of the two of you. He embraced one and then the other. Olive, beam us to the staging area. Bhaskar said. Sarudam and the brothers disappeared. Manpat sighed. They were Dachuan slaves with creatures attached to them just a while ago. Now they are the leaders for the Tosbans. Thank you, Andrew. He held on to Andrew's shoulders. Andrew walked towards the wine and poured the bottle on 2 wine glasses. He gave one to Manpat. He gestured his team to get their own. In our planet, we toast to an occasion. We raise our glass of wines and slightly bump them like this to celebrate or to wish for something. So here's to your 2 sons, may they become great leaders. He clicked his glass with Manpat and sipped. Manpat followed. The others toasted and clicked their glasses as well. Tonin raised his glass and said, to our species, may we live long and prosper together. He clicked Manpat's glass. The others did so as well. To the species here with me that saved our species from slavery and death and freed our people from the creatures, may you all live long and prosper beyond imagination. Manpat said. He raised his glasses and clicked Tonin and Andrew and the rest. This drink is as amazing as the ice cream. Manpat said. Wait till you taste the brandy. Let me get you some. Gantley said. He opened the brandy bottle and poured Manpat a big one. Here, taste this. Manpat took a big sip and yes, this is even more amazing. We have something like your wines but not this brandy. While ice creams brings everyone to the table and talk shop, brandy binds the group for a very long time. Andrew said. I can imagine. Manpat said. Tony interjected, Manpat, in 41 days I will have a wedding. I would like to invite you and your group to my wedding. Don't bring a lot, just your closest people, limit it to say 400. Of course, Tony, I would be very happy to go to your wedding. So I have to go through the hops? Yes, we will hold it in a party place near our old planet. It would be 12 BLY away from here, so you would spend like a day through the hops. 12 BLY is so far. And I can get there in a day? Manpat asked, surprised. Yes, then you can meet our leaders. Andrew added. If you stay for a week, you can get to attend our first intergalactic festival. Ellie said. A festival? Manpat looked at Ellie. Yes, you will find commercial products, art and cultural presentations, sports, contests, new technologies. It will be a 10-day affair. I would be happy to be in the festival. Can my people participate in the exchanges or presentations? I will contact the festival committee to contact your people so you can join. Linda said. While we are on the subject, it would be nice if we can invite the other aliens as well. Andrew said and looked at Tony. Boss, not to my wedding. We are up to the limit already, unless Manpat reduces his entourage to 200 I can invite 200 of the other aliens. Gantley put his arms around Tony, maybe you need a bigger place. I am willing to do that so we can bond with these other aliens. They have seen horrible things and suffered the pain of slavery. A little joy coming their way will always be welcome and will last a long time. A wedding is always a source of joy. Then top that with a festival. Okay, 200 no more. Since I will not be able to invite them, Manpat you will invite them for me but limit it to 200, okay? It's your wedding. Of course I will be happy to invite them for you as you wish. Manpat said. And Manpat, this is a bring your own food and drink wedding. You taste the other food and we get to taste your food. The truth is we don't have your food and we only have ours. Ellie said. Understood. Manpat said. Manpat, once the festival committee contact your people, have them contact the other aliens as well. Andrew said. Understood. You people continue to amaze me. You know what's also amazing? Gadden said and turned to Simultaman. Our council leaders have invited Simultaman to our galaxies. We will be leaving tomorrow. You don't want to see the oppressor loose? Manpat asked and looked at Simultaman. We already know that. This is different, this is a chance of a lifetime. That's great. Simultaman, you will see only a handful of people in these galaxies will ever see. Andrew said. I agree, Andrew. As old as I am, I rarely get excited. This time I am absolutely excited as I have ever been in my life. How old are you, Simultaman? Ellie asked. 320 years old. Ellie continued, how long does Talonauts live? Manpat answered her, maybe 400 years maximum. I would have to do some research, but you could be seeing more years than you can expect. Ellie said. Manpat interjected, speaking of research, my chief scientist is here to research with you. You have been quiet all the time, Dasternan. What do you mean by extra years, Ellie? Our transports, or TPs as we call them, transports body and matter to wherever you want. In the process, something happens to our bodies. A lot of bad cells do not get reintegrated and some other effects. The result is that our lives become longer. Original humans like me live only up to 100, now we can live up to 800 or even 1,000 years. Ellie explained. So you are telling me that I can live twice or 3 times my age? Manpat asked. I don't know yet. But probably. I am not very sure of Talanaut or Marinti physiology. Why don't we just ask Simultaman here? Andrew said and pointed to Simultaman. Yes, you will live up to 900 years. Manpat showed shock, this is incredible. After freeing our people, you guys give us long life. What's next? We can give you some of our technologies. The most basic is our fusion power technology, which we have given you. This will help your people a lot since your energy costs are so high. We can also teach you to build the ships we have. Actually, a lot more things. Andrew said. Stop. Andrew. What did I do to deserve this? Tonen quipped, it's what you will do that you will deserve this. Well said, Tonen. Simultaman said. By now you already know me. You know what I will do and my intentions are really very transparent. Manpat said. Andrew agreed, yes, Manpat. Manpat, your sons are now deployed. In an hour all the actors will be deployed. Olive reported. Olive, make sure the Tosbans we substitute are locked up in a separate area of the moon. I don't want the regular Tosbans, we will beam there later on when we engage to see their emperor and those people we substituted among them. That was the plan, Andrew. Dasternan, why don't you accompany me to my ship so I can show you around? Ellie said. Oh, Ellie's ship is different from all our other ships. It's a scientist's dream ship. Andrew said. Dasternan answered, thank you, I will follow you, Ellie. Ellie looked at Olive and they disappeared. Why don't you let me tour you around my ship, Manpat? My ship is actually the same as Billy's and Gantly's ships. They were given to us by the Inkeys and Max as a gift. But the technologies we have are from all the species we know. They started to move with Andrew leading the way, Manpat between Tonen and Gantly, Repantman was between Linda and Tony. Manpat stopped, what would my species bring to the table for the rest of you? Tonen quickly answered, numbers and loyalty. Your people are good warriors, they are not afraid to die and they will follow you to their deaths. If we train your people well, they can be very good soldiers and deliver the numbers all of us could not. But with your limited numbers you take down an empire hundreds of times your size. Manpat argued. That's the training part. A well-trained army is stronger than a poorly trained army 100 times its size. We will train your people so they can help us deal with problems in the galaxies. As Andrew mentioned, we will also teach you to build good ships with good weapons. You have not seen how our drones and on-ship plasma cannons work. We will demonstrate this in the Tosban affair. Tonen said. The tour ended at the mess hall and Manpat admitted feeling hungry again. They ate with Manpat and continued their talk on almost any subject thrown on the table. Later Linda and Tony left to attend to their work and Gantly to prepare for his entry. Tonen left to go back to his ship. Andrew led Manpat and his assistant to their staterooms. These rooms are very well appointed. I do not expect ships to have such luxuries. Manpat said. My ship was built exactly to cater to high-level dignitaries such as yourself. I too would take a rest. There will be 2 guards by your door. Ask them for anything you need. I will see you after several hours. After 8 hours of sleep, Andrew went to the bridge and saw Baskar and Sarudam looking at the screens. Hi guys, anything new? Gantly got the okay from the Emperor to approach and we see the Tosban Armada splitting into 3 as we planned. Baskar said. Good planning. Andrew said. Olive reported and showed the formation, our ship is behind Gantly. Billy's ship and Ellie's ship are behind us. We have 100 ships approaching the Tosbans with the moon up front. Tomorrow all the Tasman ships will be surrounding us. We are still cloaked, but they know that they can see us. Right now the royalty and the leaders are having a party. Cerudum said. Manpat and his assistants went to the moon for a tour. Ellie accompanied them. Bhaskar said. Tony is training the Talonauts to handle the renovation of the Tasman ships while Linda is still continuing her refugee processing training program. Olive said. It took the moon 3 days to get within 30 MLY of the capital planet. By this time all the Jintas with drones have been beamed from the moon into their deployment areas. The 5,000 ships have positioned themselves in front of the moon while Andrew's ships numbering 100 were at the back of the moon. Manpat and his assistant was with Andrew and Tony in his ship while Bhaskar and Cerudum was with Gantley on his bridge. They see Gantley talking with the Emperor on the screens. Bhaskar was advising Gantley on what to talk about. Then their talk became a heated argument and the Emperor threatened to enslave Gantley and his ships. Gantley accepted the Emperor's terms to avoid being enslaved and he began to turn around. They could see the people in the Emperor's palace cheer their Emperor. Then all the ships engaged the Tasmans. They concentrated first in beaming the ship personnel into the depths of the moon. In 15 minutes all the crew of the 5,000 ships near the moon has been beamed into the moon holding area. None of the ships in this group was able to react. Then they concentrated their attention on the next 5,000 ships and then the last 5,000 ships. The last 5,000 ships were able to launch several hundred attack ships and the Norsets launched its drones numbering 60,000 to attack the incoming ships. Another 60,000 drones were launched from various ships towards the Tasman planets. In less than an hour all the Tasman ships were empty of personnel and all the attack ships launched were destroyed. Manpat stood quietly monitoring the activities on the screens. Olive reported, all the 15,000 Tasman ships are now empty of their personnel. We have started to beam all the slaves to the Moon Refugee Center. Send in the Marines and the hackers. Andrew said. Once the Marines give the okay, send in my people so they can start renovation work already. Tony said. Olive reported, the ships are clearing the staging planet where the slaves would be processed and after clearing we will be beaming in the slaves. Tonin has started to beam the Marines in to secure the refugee center locations. Linda has started to beam in her people to establish the refugee centers. These are really just tables, beds, chairs all arranged or deployed on an open flat area but designed to handle high-volume traffic of refugees. Manpat saw on the screen slaves appearing on the staging planet and Linda's people were quick to take care of them. Olive reported, Gantley is moving his armada towards the ground targets. Tonin has launched all his drones and is now attacking ground targets. The rest of our ships that we left behind have started to move and will be here tomorrow. Olive, tell the guys to look out for the slaves. Beam them out first before attacking anywhere near them. Andrew said. Some of the hollow screen shows targets being destroyed from orbit and some were hit by the drones. There were smaller ships being launched from the ground and the drones attacked them immediately. Billy and Roger beamed in front of Andrew and Manpat. Boss, all our ships are busy beaming slaves out and delivering them to the staging planet. Roger said. On one floating screen they could see Linda giving instructions to her people. Tony left the bridge to one of the Tasman ships and in a few minutes 300 of the Tasman ships they emptied started moving to positions as hop ships piloted by Max. Manpat can see his two sons in the palace being attacked by the drones. He sees the people in the palace trying to protect their emperor. Then he saw some of the leaders disappear as they were beamed into the moon. Then Gantley appeared before the emperor and made his demands. The emperor agreed after so much convincing from his assistants who were also actors. The show of emotion on the part of the emperor and his men who had to take the bitter pill was superb. Manpat was a bit amused by the show. My compliments to the director. Manpat exclaimed. Bhaskar appeared on one of the screens to thank Manpat. After a few hours most of Linda's troops were on the ground in the Tasman cities creating perimeter walls of frozen Tasman children and fathers. The videos shows the emperor executing those who disagree with giving up their slaves. Through their communications network, the emperor told his people to release all their slaves or their eldest in the household would be executed by the emperor guards. There were some Tasmans that tried to attack the centers but they were cut off by the drones. Slowly the slaves were being delivered to the centers by the Tasman populace. After several hours, the Talonnaut reinforcements were beamed down to take the position of the Marines who were deployed into new centers being established. They also assisted the Max to tag the overflowing number of slaves being delivered to the centers. Before night fell, almost all the centers were empty of slaves. While a trickle of slaves kept coming in, the bulk has left. The drone attacks and ship targeting from orbit continue until the night in some of the planets. Andrew told Manpat that he is going down to the refugee centers to talk to the freed slaves, especially the other alien species. They all beamed down to where Linda was. They saw some small hairy creatures like the Tosbans but half the size but with furs all over. Linda greeted them. "Hi boss, we have divided the refugees by species. This area is for an alien species called Muno-uns. Tonan's ships have studied their language and programmed some translators. Here, use this, sir. Here's yours, Manpat." Andrew and Linda approached a Muno-un and asked, "How are you feeling?" "Muno-un refugee, we are happy we will be going home. Thank you." Andrew asked Linda who their leader is. "Linda, there is this Muno-un called Sartre or Sartre. Where is Sartre?" she asked the Muno-un. "Muno-un refugee, he is around looking for his son. There he is. Sartre, come here, these are their leaders." Sartre approached with a small Muno-un. "Hello, I am Sartre and I would like to thank you for liberating our people." "You are very welcome. Do you know where your home world is?" Andrew asked. "No. I do not know how to go home. The Tosban ships must have information on these species. Where they abducted them." Manpat said. "Olive, have you linked to their data systems already?" Andrew asked. Olive appeared. "Yes, these species come a galaxy 300 MLY away, Tonan provided the intel. Tony is towing the Tosban hop ships to all the species' home planets as we speak. Your people do not waste time." Manpat said. "Yes, I am the only person asking the stupid questions. They already have the answers and are doing something about it. Come on, sir, let's go over to the other city where we put another species called Dugnogs." Linda said. "Where do they get these names? Sounds like Latin mixed with Chinese." Andrew exclaimed. Linda laughed. "Olive, beam us to the other city with the Dugnogs." The group found themselves in an open area with a lot of Talonauts helping an alien species that looked like smaller Norsets but with longer faces, rounder eyes with large arms, smaller feet, and their height, with hair running on both arms and from the shoulders down to their feet. Their size is about that of the Max. Floodlights attached to floating probes light up the area like a football field. The Dugnogs are the largest of the other alien slaves. I think they are probably the sturdiest physically. When we got them out we did not find any problems with them unlike the others. We only treated them once and they're up and running. As you can see, Manpat, your people work very hard, fast, and efficient. They really take their tasks seriously. I am very proud of them." Linda said. "Coming from you, Linda, makes me proud as well." Manpat said. Olive appeared. "Andrew, this species come from 6 planets in a galaxy 500 MLY away. Most of the slaves are within the Tosban scanning range." "Linda, how do you know how to help them out?" Andrew asked. "We got information from the captured Tosban ships and some of them deal with their physiology, although not much. We had to assume some things. Like our medical pens actually help to make them strong. So we do a lot of those. They all seem to be in high spirits." Manpat noted. "Yes, they are. It seems they have bonded with the other alien species in their slave conditions, and when the Max, Inky, and Norset slaves told them we are going home, they were so happy. Unbelieving at first, but now they are just happily waiting." Linda explained. "How about food?" Andrew asked. "The food we use came from the Talonauts. But we expect supplies to come through the hops from the Mac and Inky galaxies shortly." Linda said. "I will order my people to bring in more supplies. Olive, can you tell my commanders to do so, please?" Manpat said. "Thanks, Manpat, if we do not move these people out soon, we will have a shortage. That's why Tony is working fast. We will try to beam out the nearest ones like the Muno-uns, maybe in 3 days or maybe less." Linda explained. "Why don't you get some food and supplies from the Tosbans? I am sure these aliens know what they like." Andrew said. "Some are already doing that. We started with the supplies of this planet. Right now I have Marines, Talonauts, and these various aliens going around in another planet getting supplies they like from Tosban stores. You really know how to deal with large number of refugees." Manpat said. Andrew explained, "We have been doing this for some time now. A lot of your people were refugees once." "Right." Manpat nodded. "I actually requested refugee volunteers because as former refugees they know what refugees need and how best to serve them." Linda said. "Good, Linda, now let's look at my people." "Olive, please." Andrew said. They found themselves surrounded with Talonauts. One of the Talonauts recognized their king and he fell on his knees. Some of the refugees saw this and saw the king and they fell on their knees as well. They thanked their king profusely. Manpat ordered the Talonaut volunteers to stand them up. Talonauts soon rushed to their king to hold his hands or touch his clothes. Andrew and Linda stepped back further and waited for Manpat to get out of the mob. "Come on, Manpat, you're too popular here. Let's go to the other species." Andrew said. "Olive, beam us to the Seoigs." Linda said. They spent hours into the night visiting the refugees and understanding their conditions and needs. It was almost daybreak when they got back to the ship. They settled in the mess hall and got some food. Linda looked so beat. Her uniform was dirty, wet, and crumpled. Andrew and Manpat did not look any better. "Where are the boys, Olive?" Andrew asked. "They are all sleeping. Tonin, Tony, Gantley, Billy, Roger, Bhaskar, Sarudam, Ellie and the Talonauts leaders, they are all asleep. All your commanders are sleeping except for those on shift duty. After this meal I am going to sleep. I will reward myself with sleep as well." Andrew said. "Me too," Manpat agreed. "I might fall asleep while eating. If I do, don't wake me up." They all ate quietly and when they were done, they quietly walked to their rooms. "It was a good day, Andrew," Manpat said. "It was really a good day. Good night, Manpat." "Good night, my friend." Linda beamed straight to her quarters. Morning finds all of them at Andrew's bridge. Andrew thought he woke up earlier than the others and rushed himself to his bridge to see the latest development. "Good morning, Andrew. You're late," Billy said. "It's a good day today. First, we are now less tense than before. And our number of slaves retrieved from the households jumped yesterday and now only trickles remain," Tonin said. "First off, I want to congratulate you all by awarding you all with a very good night's sleep. I know I have," Andrew said. Roger quipped, "Sleep is a reward in itself, especially after several very tense weeks." There were several screens floating around them. Several showed refugee centers. One showed the Emperor's palace. Another showed a Tasman ship being renovated by Talonauts. "I have towed several dozen ships, the last ones being 220 MLY away yesterday and just got back this morning. Some of my ships are still at it. All the Tasman hop ships will be in place by tomorrow for those galaxies up to 600 MLY away," Tony explained. "Great, Tony, that means we can send the Lonins home today and the others by tomorrow," Linda said. "What if their world cannot handle their return?" Andrew asked. "I don't understand, sir. They return, their people are happy, they go on with their lives," Linda said. "I'm just thinking maybe some of them may not be welcomed back due to some complications or whatever. Maybe we should look further than delivering them home," Andrew said. "That would be Manpat's job." "Speaking of the devil," Linda said. Manpat and his assistant came walking in. "Good morning, Manpat." Andrew greeted him. Manpat greeted the group. "It is indeed a very good morning, Andrew. Olive told me that most of the slaves have been processed and a trickle remains. And I will talk to my boys today." Ellie suggested, "Why don't you just go down and talk to them? You can go down cloaked and uncloak whenever you want to." Olive give Manpat a cloak band. A cloak band appears on the table and Ellie got it. She put it around Manpat's hand and instructed him how to use it. "But don't beam down now, the boys are still sleeping," Andrew said and pointed to a screen which showed the royal chamber. "I'll go later. Let's have some food. Olive, can you beam some food on the table, please? I notice, Manpat, that you have developed a sudden affection to Olive," Gantley commented. "She is very smart and useful. She can do most anything like magic," Manpat said. Olive appeared. "Thank you, Manpat. We have installed an AI on the moon to oversee all events and activities in the moon and report it to us. If you want, you can ask the AI to form a hologram like Olive that will perform services for you." Manpat looked at Andrew, then at Olive. Andrew exclaimed, "Okay, I get it. You want a ship AI. I will give you a ship so you can have your own Olive. Olive, remember you work for me. Thank you for feeling jealous for me, Andrew." Several food items appeared on the table. "I am not jealous, you are my ship, Olive, my ship. You know, Manpat, you could have just asked me for a ship but instead do this." They laughed. "Why, thank you, Andrew. I never expected such a gift." "So now it's a gift?" "Look, Manpat, I am giving a ship to you but you have to pay me with something. It's not a gift. See, Andrew, you get a taste of your own medicine," Tonin said. "I will give you my ship, Manpat. I have a bigger one, like Andrew's, waiting for me at the Norset Galaxy. I just need to transfer my data and AI to Olive, although I have started to send my data over the hops to my new ship," Tony said. "Good for you, Tony," Andrew said. "I will assemble a team to teach you how to operate our ships. Then later teach you how to build parts of them and build whole ships as well," Ellie said. "Was that my people's wedding gift to you?" Tonin asked. "No, they just feel like I need a bigger ship to do my work, and it's faster than our fastest ships too." Continuing, "I believe my people will be finished deploying the hops in 3 days. So I will be leaving you guys by then. I have instructed my teams to deploy the Tasman ships to the Datuans and to the Talonaut galaxies. They will be in place in a few days," Tony said. "That's good, Tony," Andrew said. You know Manpat, your people work very hard, they take their work very seriously, they try to improve the way they do things as they go and they work efficiently as a result. They also work longer hours than any of the species. I am proud to have such good workers. But you would have to pay them. Tony said. That's what I said. Linda said. And I also said, and I am saying it again, coming from you Tony, it means a lot to me and I am proud of my people. Manpat said. Don't forget the payment part. Andrew made sure Manpat acknowledged this with a nod. Manpat smiled and nodded. I think we can leave as well, maybe after a week. Once we send the last refugees home, we don't have much to do. Roger said. Linda explained, Manpat, you would have to follow through with the refugees we delivered to their homeworld. Go meet their leaders, become the hero to their people and celebrate with them for us. Also make sure the refugees are okay after we drop them off. This is your new role now, I hope you will embrace it well. You are their hero and the conqueror of the Tasbans and Datuans. Tonin said. I figured that already. You are absolutely right Roger. Olive, tell all the ships to make preparations for the trip back home. We will leave in 7 days. Andrew said. It's good that we are leaving a ship for the Talonauts to study. Manpat, the only thing that we are very careful of are our TP and cloaking technologies. Never let any information about these out. The complete information on these is not in our ship's database but in several databases back in the Norset, Mac and Inky galaxies. Other than that, you are all welcome to learn whatever it is you want to learn. And believe me when I tell you that your people need thousands of years to learn these. Ellie said. I know you are thinking about the payment Andrew. Let's just say I owe you big, really big on this. How's that? I will hold you to your word. Remember you owe not only to me but to the other species as well. But we trust you Manpat. Andrew said. He smiled and the others were smiling as well. Sure, my word is my bond. After several days working with all of you, I now understand how you really are. We're killers of emperors and destroyers of kingdoms. Bhaskar exclaimed. Now I understand where you are coming from Bhaskar. You are absolutely correct. That's exactly what we do. Why don't you put those words on your ships? Linda said. I will do exactly that. Everybody laughs. We also do something that we call personnel exchange. If you notice all our ships carry all the different species. You are welcome to send a contingent for our ships. Maybe you can send Sarudam and a few thousand men and see how it works out for you for a start. Tonin said. Sarudam would be happy to do that. Besides I am tired of seeing him and he is tired of me so it's for the best for both of us. Sarudam laughing said, I feel the same way Manpat. But you have to pay your own people. Tonin repeated. I will have some people go to you so we can integrate your commercial and cultural world with the others. This way you can pay your people and our people better. Andrew said. You are way ahead of me Andrew. Yes I like the ice cream and the brandy and I am willing to pay for these. Commercial integration is important to establish long-term relationships. I will also send my people so they can learn your ways and see how we can integrate better. Manpat said. Gantley added, so by the time we have the festival you will be able to participate already. Oh yes, you are also in charge of the other aliens. Bring them to the festival as well. Right. Manpat nodded. Olive appeared in front of them. An armed rebellion is happening in one of the cities in the capital planet. More than 5,000 Tasbans are attacking a refugee center. Don't get too excited guys, the Talonauts and the drones will respond properly. Linda said. Aren't you a bit worried Linda? Manpat asked. No. Olive can you beam a probe on the area? I already have. I sent 5. Several holographic screens appeared showing the attack from various angles. I see you trained the Talonauts well, Linda. Their firing lines are well established and they use their modified plasma rifles pretty well. Short bursts, good. Andrew noted. The drones would be taking the rebels from behind giving the impression there is no escape. I expect several hundred to pounce on them shortly. There they are. Gantley said. You respond to a rebellion with extremely large amount of force. Manpat said. That's the idea. Andrew said. All of them have implants so they get intel from the Moon Command Center. Your commanders learn strategies very well. They will make their move when the drones finish with an area. See that, they are moving to the left. Just enough people, good. See how they move to forward areas? See Manpat your people fight very well too. Linda said. Honestly, these actions are entirely new to me and my commanders. Manpat said. That's part of what we call personnel exchange. I believe Tonin explained this to you? We also learn military techniques from both sides. Roger said. Does the festival have military areas too? Manpat asked and looked at Ellie. Yes I believe so. In fact, I heard there would be a drone contest, a firing contest, a space race and military fashion contest. We are into our most exciting times. Bhaskar said. Manpat nodded, I agree.